This was done a month before you moved in?
It was. Purchased the truck in January. I didn't live with her until...
Where were you living in January?
I was still in Seattle. I still lived in my apartment.
So is what you're telling me, even before she met you?
No.
She had met you?
Yes.
You were having these troubles, so you couldn't buy a truck before you sold something that you had in Seattle.
Correct.
So she laid out the money for you.
Correct.
And then a month later, you moved down into her house.
Correct.
Her brother must have been some prize.
Well, he has 5 mistresses. So she's a mistress. She knows about it. He has 5.
Not true, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Now, the whole thing went sour in May at some point, and you asked Miss Eichinger to leave.
Yes,
with
Your
her
Honor, I
husband.
did.
She didn't want to leave.
That's correct.
You hired a lawyer in order to start eviction proceedings.
Right. Yes, Your Honor.
Do you want to tell me what the plaintiff said to you when you told her you wanted her to leave?
She told me that I'd be lucky to have them out by Christmas.
Did you ask her what she meant by that?
No, I did not, Your Honor. I was trying to have limited conversation with her at that time.
Have you ever opened your home to help someone only to end up fighting them in court? Well, that's exactly what happened in this unbelievable Judge Judy case. What started as an act of kindness quickly turned into a legal battle involving free housing, a disputed truck, and accusations from both sides. According to the homeowner, she welcomed the defendant and her husband into her 3,000-square-foot home without charging them any rent. The reason? The defendant was the sister of the man she was dating, and she wanted to help them while they worked on new business opportunities. But Judge Judy immediately questioned that story. If the couple already had an apartment in Seattle, why move into someone else's house instead of renting their own place? The defendant insisted they didn't need a place to live and claimed they were only there because of business plans and because the homeowner had invited them. Judge Judy wasn't impressed. She pointed out that there were hotels, apartments, and countless other places they could have stayed. Instead, they chose to live in someone else's home for nearly 3 months without paying rent. Then, the case became even more complicated. The discussion shifted to a pickup truck. The defendant admitted that the truck was purchased in the homeowner's name using the homeowner's money. However, she claimed there was a verbal agreement that she would repay the money after selling her own vehicle.
The homeowner completely denied that version of events. She insisted the truck was never paid back and remained legally hers because it was purchased under her name. Judge Judy carefully walked through the timeline. The truck had actually been purchased before the couple moved into the house. That raised even more questions. Why would someone buy a vehicle in another person's name unless there was complete trust between them? At first, it sounded like a simple favor between people who believed they could rely on each other. But that trust didn't last very long. After several months of living together, the homeowner decided she wanted the couple out of her house. According to her testimony, the relationship had completely fallen apart, and she even hired a lawyer to begin the eviction process. The defendant told a very different story. She claimed nobody had actually asked them to leave and argued that everything changed within only a few days. She even said she had text messages that would prove they were still getting along. Judge Judy wasn't buying that explanation. She reminded the defendant that if someone invites you into their home as a guest, they also have the right to ask you to leave. Once that invitation is withdrawn, refusing to leave creates a completely different legal situation. The homeowner eventually called the police. Instead of leaving voluntarily, the couple argued that because they had lived there for more than 2 weeks, they had become legal tenants with certain rights. Judge Judy immediately recognized what had happened. She explained that the police couldn't simply remove them because tenancy laws required a formal eviction process, but that legal protection didn't change the fact that the homeowner clearly wanted them gone.
Then the focus returned to the truck. Judge Judy asked a very simple question. If the defendant truly paid the homeowner back for the truck, where was the proof? A canceled check, a receipt, a money transfer, anything. Instead, the defendant produced documents that failed to clearly prove repayment. The homeowner continued insisting she had never received the money. At that point, Judge Judy made it clear that courtroom decisions aren't based on promises or verbal agreements alone. They require evidence. Claims without proof simply aren't enough. Throughout the hearing, Judge Judy repeatedly challenged contradictions from both sides, refusing to accept vague explanations or emotional arguments. She focused only on facts that could actually be supported. By the end of the case, one lesson became crystal clear. Helping friends or family without putting agreements in writing can quickly turn into an expensive legal disaster. Whether it's allowing someone to stay in your home or purchasing a vehicle on someone else's behalf, trust alone isn't always enough. Judge Judy reminded everyone that when money, property, and legal responsibility are involved, documentation matters far more than promises. And that's exactly why this case became another unforgettable courtroom lesson.